Good afternoon and welcome to a special coverage of the events taking place today, where President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received the South Korean president at Al-Ittihadiyya Palace. And the president, an official reception was held for the leaders to welcome the South Korean president, where the two leaders walked by the guards of honor and the national anthem of music for both countries were played. The South Korean president's historical visit to Egypt is the first in 16 years, and this marks strong political and economic relations binding the two countries. Egypt and South Korea signed agreements and memorandums of understanding between both countries. And we have with us, joining us over the phone, is Ambassador Gamal Baioumy, who's going to the former Assistant Secretary to the Foreign Minister, who's going to tell us a bit more about the significance and the importance of this visit. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Ambassador.
It is a very important visit to the country. We used to have consular relations.
Yes.
16 years ago, we had only a consulate of Korea in Cairo, because we recognized North Korea without recognizing the South Korea. By that time, of course, as you remember, we were in a strong relation with the Eastern bloc of the world. But this did not stop Korea to try to come and visit Egypt and to offer their services. And a lot of energy was given to the relations.
Yes.
By the South Korean. I remember in the 80s, during the cabinet of Dr. Atif Sidi, I received their ambassador here, the Consul General, and we discussed to establish some Korean industries in Egypt, the container industry, for instance, the shipyard industry, and they were offering to save the sunk ships in the port of Alexandria since the Second World War. Since then, they were really clever, approaching Egypt, offering us some training courses for our trainees. They are really keen to have very close and strong relations with Egypt. Now, of course, since 16 years now, we established the diplomatic relations. We have ambassadors. And this is the first visit since then of a president from Korea.
Yes.
We expect this visit, of course, to give a good push to our relations with Korea. They are keen to come and invest, come and trade with Egypt, as we have many things to attract this effort. One is our geographical position. If you look to the map, you will find that Egypt, especially Suez Canal Zone, is in the middle of the whole world. And now many countries are keen to establish stores in the Suez Canal Zone in order to be very near to their markets, not to lose any time by shipping from Korea up to Europe or up to Africa. Also, they are keen to industrialize this area, especially in the car industry. If you look from your car window in the streets, you'll find that the Korean cars are really becoming much more than any other source of cars in Egypt. If they produce car in Egypt with Egyptian rules of origin, then they can export it to Europe, to the Arab world, and to Africa, exempted from any custom duties or any trade barriers. This is something which is really the real attraction of the Egyptian market. It's not the market of 100 million, no. It is a market of 400 million Arabs, 1.2 thousand African, and 500 million Europeans. So it is a huge market, and we are seeking to have big industries which can cover all this ambitious market
So, Mr. Ambassador, what kind of projects are we going to be looking at when it comes to Egyptian-South Korean cooperation, other than the car industry? What kind of projects will we see?
What we hear up till now, they are keen to help us in the nuclear reactor in Dama.
Yes.
Of course, we are building the nuclear reactor with the help of the Russians. Korea already exported 4 reactors to the Emirates. That's why the president of Korea is visiting the Emirates also.
Yes.
We can use their experience in the car industry, as I said, in the shipyard, the building of ships in the zone of Canal Suez. They can come and invest in many things you can imagine. The household effects, the car industry, textile, name it. And as you see, as we all see, that a sort of agreements are signed. Especially, the most important is the free trade area. It means that we shall export to Korea exempted from custom duties and any trade barriers, and we shall treat them the same if they export to Egypt. This will widen, of course, the trade volume,
yes,
both sides. And I just to give you how this can help, that since we signed the agreement with Europe, our exports to Europe increased 4 times because it is exempted from custom duties. If we treat Korea like that, they will be benefiting from our market and the other markets we are open for.
Yes. What about the
challenge? Yeah.
What about the, I mean, obviously there will be financial investments and a lot of cooperations and different projects between both countries, but will there also be some sort of exchange in expertise? South Korea is quite strong when it comes to the tech business, for instance.
Yes, they are covering every sector you can imagine, and today we hear about the education also. Korea is highly advanced in education and the information technology. My goodness, we can make good benefit of this. Of course, you are aware of the technological projects such as TVs or the household effects. As I always say, in cases like that, the sky is the limit, and it will depend totally on our effort in order to make use of this very good opportunity of the relation between Egypt and Korea.
Okay, Ambassador Gamal Baioumy, the former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much for joining us and enlightening us about the Egyptian-South Korean cooperation. We're going to take a short break and continue on with our live coverage of the 2 presidents meeting today.